How is it going, everyone? I hope everyone is having a good day so far. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to try to let some few people in here. Let everyone roll in as they get the reminder that this stream is going to start here soon. I feel like I should have some longer music as we wait. I feel like there should be some music on. Let me see how this sounds. Okay. All right. I think we'll do something like this. Maybe this. Interesting. Turn it down a little bit. Have it just in the background as we wait for everyone to get in here. I kind of like that. I can just pull up the live stream here so I can see everything going on. Okay. All right, I think we're going to get started here. Oh, man. Let me take off the headline. I did not want that in there. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so first off, welcome to the LinkedIn Bootcamp. If you've been on LinkedIn for any amount of time, you already know that selling on any platform can be tough to master, even for the most experienced sales professionals. But the results with LinkedIn, if you do things right, they just won't be matched anywhere else. That's why I've put together this bootcamp. This is designed specifically for B2B salespeople. So in this hour-ish long course, you'll learn the basic things you need to know about selling on LinkedIn. If you think of this as a LinkedIn 101, that this is basically what it's going to be. It's going to be a LinkedIn 101. From how to create like an effective profile to how to use LinkedIn search tools to find potential customers. Also in the future, we are going to be putting together a series of 201 trainings. It's basically like next steps, diving deeper into the topics that we're focusing as a very general whole today. Now, we'll also dive into that 201 series, in that 201 series, we're also going to dive into specific features of the platform a little more effectively. But for right now, I'll just be covering a lot of topics in a short amount of time as more of an overview. Think of it as a 10,000-foot view. So if you're ready to take your sales results to the next level, I'll give you the DL. I'll let you in on the secrets. We'll be answering questions along the way as well. So at the end of the session and a few points within, if you have any questions on a certain slide or topic, go ahead and just put them in the chat. I'll answer them along the way as everything's starting to come down. Now, key talking points. So to maximize your chances of success with social selling and direct selling on LinkedIn, there's a few key things we're going to be covering in today's session. Why LinkedIn, social selling, how can social selling be used on LinkedIn, winning profile tips, things to keep in mind. Oops, sorry, I accidentally closed out of my tab there. I might want to do that if I want to go to the next slide. Winning profile tips, things to keep in mind, how to prospect and sell on LinkedIn, and resources to consider. Now, as by Jill Raleigh says here, LinkedIn is no longer an online resume. It's your digital reputation. Now, I would say this is true for just about anyone. If you have a LinkedIn account, it is basically your LinkedIn resume. Or I'm sorry, it's your LinkedIn reputation. It's your reputation. It's people are going to see if you ask for a job interview or if people just are looking to connect with you. The first thing they're going to do is go to your profile and look at who you are and what you're about. Your online presence now is more important than ever. So potential employers, like I just said, or prospects will just do a quick Google search of your name before like even replying or accepting any invitation you set them. So if your social media accounts can provide them with some valuable insights into your personality or your character, that's gonna be a really positive thing for you. And LinkedIn is one of the most important social media platforms for professionals. I would say it is the most important for professionals. Now, it's also important to make sure that your profile really very accurately reflects who you are and what you're looking for, what you're about, all your morals, all that kind of stuff should kind of stand out. It should show who you really are as a person. The days when you could like just list your previous job titles and like education, they're gone. Like that's a thing of the past. Now LinkedIn is all about building relationships and networking. So by adding like articles, joining relevant groups, and engaging in discussions, you can show potential prospects that you're someone who's worth doing business with. To summarize it, LinkedIn is no longer just an online resume. It's your digital reputation, just like Jill Raleigh said here. Now, here are some pretty interesting statistics. 48.5% of users in the US use LinkedIn at least once a month. So that is at least one time a month that this person is signing on. Absolutely anyone is signing on and using it. Most people even have it downloaded on their phone. So that's even more touch points if they're getting messages. I believe that statistic went up even more when they were messaged. 93% of B2B content marketers use LinkedIn for organic social marketing. Now, you might hear me use this term a few times. What I mean by organic social marketing is the algorithm's doing the work for you. You aren't having to put all the research into it. You just let the algorithm take over for you. Now, marketers see up to a 2 times higher conversion rates on LinkedIn. 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn drive business decisions. What that basically means, I don't have to tell you guys, it just means they're decision makers. It means they have the power to do something when you talk to them. 40% of B2B marketers surveyed indicated LinkedIn is the most effective channel for driving high quality leads. I mean, shall I say more? I mean, really, shall I say anything more? That's the proof you need right there. Companies that post weekly on LinkedIn see a 2 times higher engagement rate. That's a given. I think anytime you're active on social media, you are rewarded by that social media platform for being active. They promote your profile more. They promote any of your posts more. Like as long as you're more active, they love it. Any kind of engagement they can get from you, they're going to promote you more. Now, LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network with over 640 million users in more than 200 countries and regions. So it is a powerful platform for building relationships, finding jobs, and driving sales. So like the statistics I just went over, like these things should matter to you. This is something you should keep an eye out for as we go through this and as you maybe consider using LinkedIn as your own source. Now, B2B selling on LinkedIn. It's a very powerful way to connect with potential customers and grow your business. LinkedIn's a professional network site with over 560 million members worldwide, making it a prime platform for B2B selling. And when it's done right, I mean, B2B selling on LinkedIn, it's extremely effective. And it's an easy way to reach your target market and close deals. So you can reach large and targeted audiences. You can build trust and credibility, and you can generate leads all just on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for an effective way to reach your target market and grow business, B2B selling is definitely worth considering, especially using LinkedIn. LinkedIn's very good at helping you achieve those goals just simply by being the platform it is. There's nothing extra about it. Social selling. So social selling is the practice of using social media to build relationships and close sales. And in a world that is nearly everyone is online, I mean, social selling just provides an effective way just to reach these potential customers, and LinkedIn is the perfect platform for social selling. Thanks to the large user base of professionals, LinkedIn does allow you to connect with all these people that may be customers, there may be future clients, and they share your expertise. And you can even, you can share your expertise. You can kind of build this trust and credibility just around your name. You don't have to talk to these people. You're just allowing your profile to speak for itself. And so when you do it correctly, social selling is a super powerful tool for closing deals and growing your business because people are buying relationships. There's nothing new under the sun. I mean, you have to be different. You have to stand out in some way. You have to be relational. And this is the way you want to do that. So how can social selling be used on LinkedIn? Well, by building relationships, obviously, and engaging with potential customers on this site. Sales professionals, you guys, will be able to generate leads, drive sales very, very easily. However, simply having a presence on LinkedIn is just not enough to succeed at social selling. To be effective sales professionals, we need to use strategies. We need to specifically get a strategy that's for this exact platform. It's not a one size fits all. For example, you need to focus on creating high quality content that is tailored to the target audience. You should also make sure to participate in relevant LinkedIn groups. I mean, like actively connecting with these people, using the ideas of other strategies is good, but you need to tailor them to LinkedIn specifically. Sales professionals, I mean, can easily maximize the chances of their success on LinkedIn just by doing these things. So it's essential to remember the goal of building relationships. You're not trying to sell them. You're building relationships that lead to sales. Never think about that backwards. Always think about you're building relationships that lead to sales, not you're building sales relationships. Now, building a professional brand. Now, this professional networking site does provide you with an excellent opportunity to build your brand and expand your network by creating a profile that highlights these skills, experiences. You can even just attract people through the skills and experiences, whether it be employers, clients, or just business partners. Now, LinkedIn also offers a number of features that can help you further promote your brand. An example being joining the relevant groups, participating in discussions, posting articles on your profile, trying to be a thought leader in your respective industry. By taking advantage of these really easy practices, you can position yourself as an expert in the field and build a strong professional brand. Now, building a professional brand, I'm going to take this into another slide. In today's competitive marketplace, it's more important than ever to stand out from the crowd. How are you going to break through the noise? How are you going to stand out against your opponents? So one way to do this is to develop your personal brand. And a personal brand is really just a sum of who you are as a professional, your values, judgments, experiences, and expertise. And you want to throw in some personality in there as well. You don't want to be just a bland person who everyone sees, everyone knows everything about. You just like everyone else. Let your personality come through. If you're funny, awesome. If you're super active, let it come through. If you do karate, throw it in there. If you do golf, throw it in there. Pickleball, throw it in there. Let people know what you're about. Let them know who you are. For me, I'm gonna let them know who Mikey is, right? When you're known for your integrity or your insight, sense of humor, it's easy to build this trust and attract potential customers. I mean, in addition to a strong personal brand, it can help you even advance your career and reach some goals you maybe thought you'd never be able to reach. If you're looking for that next level, I would say building the personal brand is very important. But it's also important to be authentic. Remember that you're talking to people. They're not just numbers. They may turn into numbers at some point, but you always want to make sure you have that relationship because that's really what you're selling, right? You're selling that relationship with the person. Now, profile tips for sales. One of the most common mistakes that we see is using the site as a platform to boast about the sales skills. Now, your LinkedIn profile is not a place to brag about how many deals you've closed or how much money you've made for the company. Instead, and I'm not saying those are bad things to talk about because it's good to back up your success with ROIs, with statistics, with case studies. That's all good stuff, but this isn't the place for it. So instead, it should be a way that you connect with other professionals and maybe you share some valuable information. If you fill your profile with self-promotional content, you're likely to turn off potential connections. You just are. Instead, you should focus on providing value by sharing your expertise, insights, all those kinds of things. Now, by taking this approach, you're more likely to attract the attention of potential employers and clients alike. So that's why LinkedIn that's what it's really for. It's really just for attracting people, but you don't have to brag about yourself. Let that come through as people talk with you and as they look through your profile, they'll see this stuff. So you don't have to point it out for them. Now, moving on. LinkedIn headlines. Now, this is a pretty big part. This is one of the first things that people are going to see. So you need to make sure you kind of perfect this one. This one's pretty important. So in just a few words, it has the potential to make a strong impression and encourage people to learn more about you. So what makes a great LinkedIn headline, you might think? I got some examples right here for you. And while there's no perfect formula, there are a few elements that can kind of help to ensure that your headline makes a positive impact. Firstly, focus on making it clear, concise. Please don't use crazy jargon. Avoid using jargon that's like buzzword stuff. Stick to language that can be easily understood by your target audience. And for your benefit, again, I put some things right here so you can kind of, see it. So your title plus years of experience, industry or vertical, and then your unique strength and value proposition. So closing sales manager with 10 years of experience in SaaS increased upsell revenue by 67%. Senior accountant with 6 years, or I'm sorry, it says 5 years of experience in retail, proven ability to increase customer loyalty, telecom sales consultant with 15 years of experience, known for developing new markets. I am also sorry that I am congested. This probably sounds terrible. But looking at these things, again, am I bragging here? No, you're letting them know what you're about, how long you've been doing it for, what you do. Tell them who you are, why you do it, how long you've been doing it. Again, through here, you can also add a little bit of personality. My favorite is personally the first one, which I know I'm kind of blocking with my header. Let me take this away for a second. So what it says is a witty wordsmith who loves helping tech startups, ghostwriter, and content strategist. Now, this is really, really easy to do. I mean, like even ChatGPT could come up with if you tell it to write like a witty or like a funny headline, and you just tell it information about yourself. Let it come up with one for you. I maybe even use emojis in there. I don't think emojis hurt at all. So doing that is really helpful. Now, graphic design maven with a passion for fashion. Like it rhymes. I love that. Avid traveler and coffee lover. I personally do not like coffee. Don't care for it, but I know a ton of people do. Avid traveler and coffee lover and business development at a tech startup. Very simple, very easy, soft introduction. Second, just make sure your headline is accurate. Just make sure you're not lying. Don't make any false claims. Don't exaggerate. Be authentic. Be genuine. Be yourself. But also always keep it up to date. Don't let it fall off. If you do, that's tough. So, there's really no recovering from that. So just every, I'd say 3-4 months, just update it, make it look pretty again, make sure it's all accurate. If you make one that's timeless, kudos to you. You're doing good. You're ahead of most of us. So also here's some other examples that I from people. So be clear, concise, use simple language that can be easily understood. By following this simple formula, you can now write a headline that will help you stand out from the competition and attract the right attention. Again, brand strategist, energetic speaker, foodie, and proud dad. Loud introvert with a big mission, teach 1 billion people how to make a living doing what they love. Don't really like Chris Dews as much, but I do like Philip Oakley's. Now, I'm not a foodie, but you can tell he's a proud dad. He's a foodie. He's an energetic speaker. He's a brand strategist. He tells you exactly what he's about, who he is. You didn't have to think too much about it. Now, about section. It's time to put your best foot forward and make a great first impression to these potential employers. So posting an engaging summary is a really easy way to do this. So your LinkedIn profile is your digital resume. I know I said the opposite earlier, but I'm just telling you it is the truth. But don't think of it as a job resume. It's one of the first places your prospects will look to learn about you. That's why it's important to make a great first impression. Now, one way to do this is by crafting an engaging, keyword-rich summary about in the About section of your profile. So start by introducing yourself, briefly mentioning your current offering, your most recent experience, and your results. Then just highlight your key strengths and accomplishments. Be sure to use specific examples and persuasive language to sell yourself as the best partner for your for the ideal client. So end with a call to action, such as invite the reader to connect with you, learn more about your work. By taking time to create this standout summary, you'll be one step closer just to landing your target audience. Just because they're seeing that you put time and effort into this, they're interested in learning more. Now, about section example. Your LinkedIn About Me section is one of the most important parts of your profile. I know I just said it, but I have to stress it. So what you want to make sure that it conveys is your personal story, and you want to make sure it's compelling. There are several keyword elements to consider when crafting this part of your profile, though. First, give an overview of yourself and why you do what you do. You can include information on your current job or your profession and any hobbies or interests that make up who you are. Additionally, just any stories that are from your past that influence where you are today. For example, if a particular experience pushed you towards entering a certain field, starting certain business ventures, always add them in there. Secondly, provide some detail about what makes you unique. Here's an opportunity that is a really good opportunity to demonstrate your skills, experiences, accomplishments, anything just make sure it's also in a relatable manner. Make sure they're able to relate to it, understand it. Describe what makes you stand out from other professionals in your field or industry and why people should work with you rather than someone else. Finally, don't forget to include the call to action. Whether it's just an encouraging message to the employers to contact you for job opportunities, fostering relationships with some ideal clients, ensure that what you're providing is an easy way for others to connect with you. Now, remember, your About Me section is the perfect place on LinkedIn to show off who you are as a person and a professional. So make sure it reflects the best version of yourself. Now, with these few little tips, I think you can accurately craft an engaging About Me section that tells your story and it helps make you some really easy connections. You never know where those connections are going to lead to. So, your profile pictures, this is really important. And I know a lot of people slack on this one. So, first, use a profile headshot. No selfies, no vacation photos. Show off your best side. Put a big genuine smile on, make direct eye contact with the camera. I would say it's also important to dress in business casual attire. Nothing too fancy. Still appropriate for workplace, but nothing super fancy. Remember to pick a neutral background that won't draw like unnecessary attention away from you. Last, ensure your photo has been edited for technical quality before uploading it. Pixelated images, man, they're bad. Like, I mean, not only is it terrible because I don't know what you look like it can get off the wrong impression that it looks like a spam, or I just don't trust you because you don't care enough about it. So following these tips will, again, just help you maintain this professional presence on LinkedIn, and it'll help you create an engaging profile that you won't forget. Now, warning, this next slide is gonna be crazy. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I said it. So be careful. All right. Let's start by looking at some of the most common mistakes that people make when using or taking these profile pictures. So first, don't just set up for a selfie. A good LinkedIn profile should look professional, polished. So take the time to pose for a nice photo in front of a neutral background that won't distract from your face. Your face should be the main point of the picture. The next thing to avoid is using any filter on your photos. While they may make your profile stand out, those effects will only hurt your credibility in the long run, as they tend to make these professional images seem less professional. Now, finally, try not to take take your profile photo in any outfit that might not be considered business professional. You want to be taken seriously on LinkedIn, and so you want to make sure you look the part. Here are a few examples of what not to do when it comes about taking your LinkedIn profile picture. Okay. On the right over here, we have I'll call it overly casual look. This is someone who forgets everyone is going to see this picture, and this is not Facebook. So next, the crop out. A professional picture that shouldn't be a crop out of some other picture that you took and cropped out of your surroundings. Okay. Don't do it. We also have the totally unprepared look. It includes wearing bright colors such as neon yellow, hot pink, or having a messy room, or a cluttered background photo. Finally, there's the I'm too cool for this look. This is when someone takes a photo of themselves with sunglasses on, a smirk plastered on their face. It can be off-putting, like it can be. So your prospects, your employers, this will not make you stand out the best way to them. You'll stand out, but not in a good way. So remember to take your LinkedIn profile picture seriously, put some thought into it, take care to ensure that the image looks professional and polished in a good and appropriate way. Now, I will caveat this all with the fact that if your brand is meant to be playful, or maybe you're looking to target cat lovers, you may have some leeway on the bringing your cat into frame. Otherwise, think about your audience. Now, the LinkedIn featured section. This is one of probably the more powerful parts of your actual LinkedIn profile in terms of standing out and being unique and different amongst all your other competitors. Now, maybe you've wondered about the featured section on LinkedIn. I'm going to give you a quick couple reasons why this tool can be beneficial for your social selling on LinkedIn. Reason one, the featured section allows you to highlight content that is specific to your industry or field of expertise. This also makes it easier for potential employers and clients to find relevant information about what you do and how you can help them. Reason two, You can showcase your best work in the featured section, which helps you visually demonstrate your skills and capabilities. This will give people an idea of what they can expect working with you. Now, most people don't use this featured section, and your profile will stand out if you use it in this way. So this is going to give you a competitive edge when you're looking to attract some more business opportunities. Now, your LinkedIn recommendations is also a very powerful tool that you want to be continue using. So one of the most important things you can do is request recommendations from current clients. The recommendations should speak to your skills, your expertise, and your results in order to give potential employers a better idea of who you are as a professional. So don't be afraid to ask your contacts and clients for recommendations, and make sure to include them in your profile. As soon as you get them, go and click on show. You have to approve of them. So this will help you stand out from other candidates and show you're serious about your professional career. How to prospect on LinkedIn. So I'm going to take a second. If anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I will look and I'll wait to see if any get thrown in the chat. I'll give it about 30 seconds to a minute here. All right, so I got one question over here, which is fine. Oop, I didn't even do that yet. So the question is, why would you suggest using emojis? So a number of reasons. One, I think emojis are really helpful. They kind of just make you stand out. It's like white space. When you think of using white space, like this isn't going to pull as much of your attention as this does. Like this really makes you look at this. This is kind of soft on your eyes. Now, you want to stand out in as many ways as you possibly can. So this is a really easy way to make you stand out amongst other people. But great question. I think emojis are really helpful. If you go to mine, even I use emojis in mine. I think it's like, again, it's really good to kind of captivate what you're saying in your tagline or your headline with an emoji, just because it's like, maybe you're really good at writing. Maybe you put a typewriter in there. Maybe you put a little essay paper in there. Like whatever you want to do it to match what you're saying in your tagline, but also it can kind of just make people's attention go to it, which I think is really helpful. You want to grab everyone's attention. You want to show that you care about it. You've put some thought and effort into it. And that's just a really easy way you can do that. Yeah. How to prospect on LinkedIn. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the more important parts. So one of the most effective ways to prospect for potential customers is through LinkedIn. But maybe you're asking how? How would I do that? What is it? What do you mean by that? I'm glad you asked. By building this comprehensive profile that really reflects your professional brand, you can use the search function to find potential customers who match your ideal target market. Now, once you've identified prospects, it's really important to start engaging with them by sending personalized messages, which there's a number of ways you can go about doing that. I would just make sure they're personal to the person. This kind of helps to start a conversation and build rapport with the prospect. You can also engage with them further by liking, commenting, anything with their posts, as well as sharing content they might find interesting, informative. Don't come in as a know-it-all, but still be able to inform them and let them know that you know what you're talking about. Lastly, it's essential to follow up after your initial conversation with prospects. So this will help you continue building that brand relationships of establishing trust. And if you're running into time restraints like many of us do, then there are a multitude of technology solutions that can help you stay on top of creating, posting, your outreach, your follow-up, video creation, and a lot of other things surrounding that kind of topic. So Continue to follow up with people. I would say follow up is the number one thing that most people follow through with. Everyone can send out that first message, but it's harder to follow up with them. It's hard to keep up with them. It's hard to do all these things. So that's kind of where your big struggle is going to come into. All right. Now, this part's not going to be for everyone, but I still think it is super important to go over how to use Sales Navigator. So I'm a huge fan of Sales Navigator because it provides a ton of incredibly useful solutions for B2B prospecting. I say specifically B2B because I've yet to test the waters of B2C. So I speak in mainly a B2B prospecting angle. So it allows professionals like you and I to quickly, easily, and identify these valuable leads. You can create tailored campaigns, track customer engagement, all in real time. You can even analyze performance metrics such as connection rates, just to be able to optimize your outreach efforts. And with Sales Navigator, you can also utilize powerful features like account targeting, which enables you to target specific accounts or industries even with very accurate precision because everyone's updating their own information. So additionally, the platform also offers LinkedIn Insights that provide you with valuable data on your prospecting and accounts, giving you this valuable intelligence into their interests, buying habits, and all these features make it really easy for professionals like you and I to reach out to these potential customers quickly and effectively. Now, while providing actionable insights into your customer behavior is really important, it's not the end all be all. Ultimately, this helps ensure maximum ROI for the marketing activities when used strategically. So if you're looking for a powerful tool to boost your B2B sales, Sales Navigator is a really good choice for tons of reasons. Now, even recently, Sales Navigator allows you to actually send even more connection requests than you can without it. So that's even just another step into the direction of you are going to want it, especially if you're trying to social sell on LinkedIn. Now, there are 3 versions. Sales Navigator Core is the basic tier subscription, which provides you access to sales intelligence, such as profiles, lists, and insights. It also allows users to connect and collaborate with their teammates using the team link functionality. You can create searches, lists, and you can view Salesforce records in Sales Navigator. You can schedule emails with the auto send and get notifications on news alerts. Now, Sales Navigator Advanced is a more powerful feature to help teams work more effectively together. It includes a shared list so that teams can collaboratively build the contact lists together. Buyer intent alerts for getting insight into a company's interests and your product or solution. Smart links, so user can package your content in a single link, track the engagement. You can embed profile integrations or snaps across your sales stack and your CRM integration with Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. Now, Sales Navigator Advanced Plus is the highest subscription tier. Supporting the enterprise grade functionality, it includes all the features of Sales Navigator Advanced, as well as additional features to integrate CRM information into Sales Navigator and push Sales Navigator information into your CRM. So this includes auto-saving relevant leads from your CRM, viewing opportunity information in your Sales Navigator, creating leads and contacts in your CRM directly from Sales Navigator, data validation to flag out-of-date records, ROI reporting to measure revenue impact, and much more. Additionally, also administrators will have access to the sandbox environment for testing purposes. For a majority of you, you will not likely need anything beyond the core services that cost $79.99. And they still do have a 1-month free trial for testing it out, which I would advise you to take. It's very helpful to kind of just poke around, see what's all going on in the actual Sales Navigator core. Even if you do only use it for 1 month, I think it's really good to understand and see all the valuable insights you can kind of get from Sales Navigator. Now, another thing is conducting your research. So in a B2B realm that you're working through, conducting this research on LinkedIn is especially valuable. By using your keyword search and your groups, you can target businesses in your industry and learn more about your challenges and your needs, and their challenges and their needs. Apologies. Additionally, company pages will help you start to understand the size of an organization you may be targeting. By reading these relevant articles through the Pulse, you can even stay up to date on the trends of your field, which is really easy to stay up to date with just using that Pulse functionality. Lastly, identifying influencers. Now, the reason that's why it's important is because it allows you to kind of see what the thought leaders are saying about the topics related to your specific industry. With all this information at your hands with the Sales Navigator, it's really easy to make these informed decisions when marketing your products or your services. So with a better understanding of your target's wants and needs, you can create that more tailored experience to better serve them. Ultimately, the research can really just help you increase your sales and grow your business because you know who you're talking to and you have your fingers kind of more on the pulse on what everyone's talking about, how to interact with people correctly, what's being said, how you need to react, maybe what kind of thought leadership you need to put out there. So social media is a really powerful tool to connect people, build relationships, and just share information. It's a great way to get your own brand out there and establish yourself as an authority in your chosen field. Like I said, thought leadership. You always want to be in the top of your field. You want people to take you seriously. So however you can position yourself to be a thought leader in your industry, it's going to excel you much further and almost give you like a speed boost. Think of like a Mario speed boost. Like it's going to help you get so much further along. But one thing that many people like overlook is the importance of just establishing your baseline trust and credibility. So on social media, it's not about pushing these products or services in people's faces because no one wants that. It's about engaging with people in this meaningful way and building those relationships that will last a long time. So, for example, if someone follows you on social media, it's really important to take the time to respond to those comments, answer any of their questions, or just have a conversation with them. This kind of stuff shows them that you care and you're willing to invest in the relationship. It's also a good idea to share some valuable content that relates to your field. Show off your expertise that you have. If you know what you're talking about, show people that you know what you're talking about. Prove them right? I mean, you want to show them, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Doing all this will help cultivate your audience to just trust you and they'll value your opinion. As Julio Viscovich says here, social is not the place for a hard sell. It's the place to build trust and credibility. Like I said earlier, you're building relationships for a sale. You're not building sales relationships. There's a big difference there. All right. Again, how do you sell on LinkedIn? How do I do it? I don't understand. When it comes to it, it's just building relationships. It's that easy. The other day, I was even trying to make a connection with a potential customer. And instead of saying this like super generic message that I send to majority of the people I'm trying to connect to, I just took a few extra minutes, personalized it, looked at his profile. So he's a Buccaneers fan, was super happy to talk to him. I absolutely loved that. I even mentioned that we had some interest together. I had noticed a recent post they had put out, really resonated with me. And I just asked them how their business was doing. It's super easy to make that kind of personalization. This really allowed me to like start off on the right foot and put a more friendly face onto my pitch. So I also shared some valuable content related to their industry. I try to make it too salesy. You don't want to come across as I'm trying to sell you on absolutely everything I tell you about. And this showed them that I value them as a potential customer, but in addition to also showing off my knowledge on the subject. Of course, throughout all of this, I made sure to remain professional, avoid using any language or a tone that could be, interpreted as aggressive. As soon as someone perceives you as being aggressive, the entire conversation is going to change. They're not going to want to talk to you. You're not going to get any replies. So just be honest, be yourself, but don't be aggressive. By taking the time to build these relationships and provide informative content, personalized messages, I was able to pull them into a one-on-one Zoom call to continue the conversation. But this shows exactly why it's important to remember that selling on LinkedIn, it's that relationship building and helpfulness that should come before even trying to push the product or service too hard. If you come across as too salesy, you could cost your own potential customers. You could lose them all. So if done right, though, I mean, LinkedIn is super effective way to sell your products and services. It's all about the relationship. As soon as you get the relationship going, it just perpetuates and it just goes. It just carries itself along basically throughout the entire pipeline. Now, I'm going to continue this because I do think it is super important to talk about, but everyone on LinkedIn is looking for something a little bit different. So if you want to make the most of your presence on the platform, be clear. about what it is you have to offer. So, for example, say you're a software consultant that works with CPA firms. Rather than just posting some generic, general updates about your product or your service all of the time, like literally everyone else does, think about your target audience, think about who they are, and tailor each post to that specific group. Almost create a persona, and talk to those biggest pain points that you know they have. If you become a solid resource for their problems, they'll eventually start paying attention to what you're sharing, and they may even begin to engage, reshare, and maybe even reach out to you. So again, talking about that organic growth, this is one of the ways you can do that. When people start to just want to interact with you, you'll start to see more of that organic growth come through. So in addition, make sure to include a strong call to action in your posts so that potential customers can easily take the next step. This can be as simple as providing a link to your website, or a blog where they can just learn more about your services. Lastly, once you've made a connection with someone on LinkedIn, I would make sure this is top priority to have an in-depth conversation. You want to take the conversation off the platform though. As soon as you're having that in-depth conversation about your products or services, make sure it's on video. Email or phone can, help potential customers get a better understanding of what it is you have to offer. But often the best way to do it is just show it off in a video. Talk about it in a video. As soon as you're on the phone, you're better. As soon as you're in email, you're better. When you're on LinkedIn, it's all about that personality. It's all about that relationship. It's all about how much are you guys having good conversations? Are they gaining from you? What does that relationship look like? As soon as you get them off this platform, though, that's when you can start talking to them. You can be a little more informative. You can be a little bit more salesy. You can just develop that relationship outside of just LinkedIn. So, social selling on LinkedIn is a great way to engage with your audience, build those relationships. And for example, let's say again, you run an executive coaching firm. You can use LinkedIn polling to ask questions for your connections, interesting questions about maybe their career path, maybe what challenges they're facing in their own industry, their own niches, at their own company, or how they stay motivated. Just ask some simple questions, get some engagement up there. This sort of allows you to start a conversation and get to know your connections just a little bit better, understanding maybe the persona that you need to be talking to. You can also use the LinkedIn Live to host your own live video broadcasts that allow you to give advice, answer questions, interact with your followers in real time. And finally, just utilize listicle posts to break down your complex topics for easy to read information. This is going to help you just get some more engagement so more people can understand it. By sharing some of these insights, you can even position yourself as, again, there's that word, that thought leadership. You'll even start to build trust with your connections. With social selling on LinkedIn, you can even create those meaningful relationships with your followers and drive those real business results. Now, again, talking about being a thought leader, standing out, making a difference, understanding that you need to separate yourself from everyone else. You need to be different. You need to break through the noise. These are some of the ways you can do that. You want to make sure you're building this persona and you're speaking to that persona in everything you're doing. So another really important thing is that when you find out what works for your audience, and then help them understand the opportunity exists to improve their results, their business, their revenue, or just their overall life, depending on how you are, whatever your product or service is. Not only your posts will lead to next steps, demos, closed deals, the $1 billion deal, right? But everyone should be, everyone should help your ideal clients improve their lives, increasing their knowledge, understanding, and just reach their goals. That should be your goal at the end of the day, is just help them get across that finish line. Your question should really be, what finish line are you trying to get them across, right? Again, I'm going to give about a minute or so here just to ask, anyone ask any questions. I'd love to answer anything anyone has on their mind. I'm going to give you about a minute here. All right. I saw a really good question there. So, why is social selling so important, or has anyone ever seen success with it? Yes. I mean, obviously, people have seen success with it, but I'm not just going to give you that answer because I think you can say that about just about anything that, yes, someone's seen success with it at some point. Um, but I think the reason that we choose social selling even is because as soon as you can start that relationship, like I said earlier, it'll perpetuate into more and more. I mean, the more you're looking to develop relationships with people, the more that this social selling is going to be better, and your skills will only grow as you move along in this. So as you start to maintain that social presence and you have more connections, you have more followers, you have more thought leadership, content posted, you have more engagements on your profile, all this will help you as some random person seeing you as a thought leader. If you have someone who says the exact same thing on two different platforms, one has 2 million followers, one has 2 followers. The one who has 2 million followers is going to see significantly different results than the 2 followers. Now, that's a drastic example, but my point being, as soon as you have numbers, what you say will be taken more seriously. So your whole goal in social selling is to build yourself up as that super important person. As soon as people will see you as that super important person, it's just going to get easier and easier. The issue, or I should say the problem that you're going to face, is getting to that point, right? So getting to that point, all the tips I've given you today is what you need to be focusing on. As you continue to do these steps, you'll see that it will lead to more and more success. You just need to make sure that you're pushing to that more and more success. A really easy way of doing that, rewatching this entire video, watching the videos we've put out in the past. I have 2 or 3 different times that I've done this. I've gotten all sorts of questions. Go back and I stop at about the similar slides. Go look at the questions, just see what people are asking me. I've even had Troy Vermillion come on here and even give some helpful insights. So, there's plenty of people that I'm trying to look to get on here, even just to kind of provide different insights on the walk of being a salesman. So go back and watch some of those questions would be my advice as well. I've gotten some pretty good ones over the few times we've been doing this, and I hope to get some more good questions as we keep moving forward. So, battling time poverty. So for many of you, you'll be able to take everything I shared with you today and implement it, be consistent. Others of you, you're going to struggle, whether it's just like technical sides or creative, differences. Either way, we all struggle. I get it. Having enough time to do it all is really tough. So if you need a little help in any of the following, make sure you reach out to me at Growbot so I can lend a helping hand. I don't mind helping with absolutely any of this. I can show you what I do. I can even provide you some tips of just maybe what I've done in the past with some other clients or just what I've given out as advice. So on a scale of, I'll say 1 being the worst, 5 being the best way over here, on a scale of 1 to 5, how well are you using LinkedIn? I'll give you a second to kind of put some responses in here. At a 1, 3, 3, 4. Okay, so you guys are pretty confident. There's a 2. Someone put a 5 in. I can't take that seriously. I'd say I'm not even a 5. I'd say I'm like a 4. I'm a solid 4. I feel like I don't post enough probably. Well, thanks for being honest. Yeah. It's good to be honest with yourself. I mean, if you ask me how good I was at golf, I mean, I'd say I'd hover between like the red and the cliff. I'm not that great. But all kidding aside, it's really important. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. It's really important that we are honest with ourselves so we can start building our own understanding and abilities on this just daily task. So it's also an excellent time for you to be asked questions as we wrap up. Maybe some things I didn't cover you were hoping we would. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, my information is on the screen. If you guys have any questions, I'd absolutely love for you guys to reach out to me, Michael at growbot.online. Yeah. Just email me with any questions. Feel free to give me a phone call as well, or text me. I got my phone next to me 24/7. Yeah. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm not seeing any questions in here. It's all good. Thank you guys for joining. Reach out to me if you need any help. My email's on the screen. Again, Michael or michael.reynolds@growbot.online, either one of those. I'd be happy to help. Other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for anyone who is tuning in. If you guys stayed the entire time, thank you so much. I know this is kind of streams. So sorry if you guys didn't see some of the chats. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Again, reach out to me if you guys have just absolutely any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions how I can. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And again, just reach out if you need anything.